I just read a story that talks about an amazing change. XRP's value reached an impressive $1,427, a significant milestone caused by the fact that 30% of the world's banks may accept it. At first look, 30% may not seem like much, but it's a big chunk of the banking industry. Ripple is said to be working with almost a third of the world's banks, which is very interesting. We have all the proof you need in this section. That being said, the question arises, are these banks making the most of Ripple? It looks like not. We're going to talk about this subject in more depth today. I also want to talk about some new information that came out just 2 days ago that suggests Ripple could go public by the end of March. As the end of March draws near, this move could send the price of XRP through the roof, reaching an unbelievable $8.97 in just over a month. Music. In an interesting twist, about 4% of all deposits made through foreign bank accounts are held by SBI. In the bigger picture, this means that SBI could be a big part of the 30% global banking field and use Ripple's technology. Yes, but that's only the beginning. In Brazil, Ripple has also made a big agreement by launching its on-demand liquidity services with the help of the country's central bank. That's only one part of the world puzzle. If you watched my last video, you'll remember that we talked about the BRICS countries and how each one, like China, Brazil, South Africa, Russia, and India, has direct ties with Ripple for on-demand liquidity and central bank digital currencies, or CBDCs. Comparing the world's GDP to that of just the BRICS countries shows that they make up about 29% of the world's economic output. This leads us to an interesting option. If all 5 of the BRICS countries decide to work with Ripple together, the effects could be huge. I talked a lot about this in a past video where I talked about how possible it is to add CBDCs to the XRP ledger and what steps are already being taken. It's impossible to stress how important the XRP ledger is in this situation. It is a very important part of how the economy is changing. Because of this, the possibility for Ripple's technology grows even stronger as we look forward to the next bull market. After the Federal Reserve made a public statement, the talk about Ripple's growing role in financial technology took a big turn. They said that both XRP and XLM could be very important in helping to build the blockchain basis for their new FedNow payment system. The Federal Reserve pointed out that working with Metal blockchain was a key step toward making the switch from fiat to stablecoin smooth and easy. This would help close the gap between standard banking systems and the decentralized finance sector. At the moment, Americans can make fast payments within the United States mostly through third-party apps like Venmo and PayPal or digital cryptocurrency wallets. However, the FedNow service will change everything about this. StackDig is currently in the test stage, but over 120 organizations have already signed up to use it. These include well-known banks like US Bank and Exchange Bank, as well as a number of payment processors and solution providers. Music. This event not only shows that blockchain technology is becoming more accepted and used in regular financial services, but it also marks a major turning point in the coming together of traditional banks and the new world of decentralized finance. Ripple is a leader in cross-border payment solutions and distributed ledger technology. It will likely play a big role in the FedNow project, which is being led by the Federal Reserve. In the same way, Stellar Lumen's XLM, which is known for its blockchain-powered network that makes global transactions faster and cheaper, is likely to be added to the FedNow environment. Music. This is where the story takes an interesting turn. A story caught the attention of the fintech world only 8 hours ago. XRP soars to $1,427 as 30% of banks around the world accept it. It's an amazing development that shows how blockchain and banking can change things. The story says that 30% of the world's banks are now using XRP for cross-border payments, which is what caused its amazing rise in value to $1,427. Music. This amount of adoption shows that a huge number of people want XRP, which has sent its price to all-time highs. The rising value of XRP on the market is not only good news for Ripple, but it could also be very good for buyers. The story gets more interesting when it's revealed that XRP's market share is almost at or above 30%, which points to even wider use in the world's financial systems. In an interesting development just 6 days ago, it was said that XRP transactions could reach more than 1.2 quadrillion, which would make its price possibility go up to $10,000. Financial companies are starting to use the XRP ledger and its digital assets more widely, which is a huge change. The truth is out, and the news can't be changed. The buyback scheme from Ripple is no longer just a guess. It's becoming real faster than anyone thought it would. Ripple Labs, the company that created XRP, is not only thinking about buying XRP, they are already doing so. As pointed out in a recent story, Ripple starts a large buyback and retires nearly 1 billion XRP. This shows that a lot of people are sure about XRP's value and its future in the financial world. The story gets more complicated when it comes out that the Federal Reserve is not just watching from the sides, but is very interested in making XRP a central part of global payment systems. There are a lot of huge effects that could happen. If central banks around the world start using XRP, its value could skyrocket to between $12,000 and $22,000 per coin. This huge increase in value really shows how XRP has the ability to change the way global finance works. Music. It has also been confirmed that Google's insights are in line with this path, which supports the Federal Reserve's plans to use XRP as a global payment option because it is so flexible. This set of events is a big step forward for Ripple and XRP. It puts them at the forefront of financial innovation and could change the way payments are made around the world. As promised, we have some shocking papers that were leaked and are about to tell you about them. There are more and more signs that the Federal Reserve has been interested in XRP for a while now. So, a few weeks ago, the Fed stated that it planned to use XRP around the world in line with the ISO 4217 standard. At first, this big plan was supposed to be put into action by the end of 2023, but some unexpected delays happened. Because of these setbacks, XRP wasn't widely used as a legally accepted currency right after regulators gave it the go-ahead. These days, XRP is mentioned with very important currencies issued by governments and central banks like the US dollar, the euro, the British pound, and the Canadian dollar.